What's up, Skin Job? So in this week's film review, I am actually looking at a film that came out towards the end of last year, and if you didn't get the reference from my intro, that film is Blade Runner 2049. The original Blade Runner film is one of my all-time favourite movies. Like many other sci-fi fan, I absolutely love it. It is a timeless piece of classic science fiction that will always be one of my favourite films. Prior to 2049 coming out, understandably, I was a little apprehensive. How can you better one of the greatest science fiction films of all time? I went into the cinema, I sat down, and after 2.5 hours, I was absolutely blown away. 2049 is one of the best sequels of all time. And if anybody says it's not, punch them in the face. In a nutshell, Blade Runner 2049 is a continuation of the original Blade Runner film. It takes place 30 years after the first movie and follows a replicant Blade Runner, emphasis on replicant, we know he's a replicant, called K. He's played by Ryan Gosling, and his investigation on a mysterious box of bones. And these bones lead him to question his very existence. Is he a human? Is he a replicant? Is he something else? A mystery. K's investigation takes him all the way to Las Vegas, and he eventually meets up with Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford of course, from the original Blade Runner, and the two have to work out the mystery of this box of bones and the lineage and the future of the replicant race. That's the spoiler-free version. I won't be divulging any spoilers because it's one of those films that the less you know, the better it is. Unfortunately, the mysterious marketing campaign didn't quite work and nobody went to see this film apart from me and a few other diehards, which is a tremendous shame. Blade Runner 2049 is an absolute stunning masterpiece from every conceivable point of view. From its music, its cinematography, its acting, its direction, its special effects, its pacing. Some people call Blade Runner 2049 a slow movie, and then they call it dull and boring as a result. Not true. Blade Runner 2049 is a slow movie, like its predecessor, but the pacing is done intentionally. It's a neo-noir detective story that is very deliberately pieced together. It's a puzzle. That's essentially what it is. Filmed in the way the original was by a brilliant director in Denis Villeneuve, who is fast becoming one of my favourite directors, up there with some of the greats. Cinematography, as I mentioned, is just absolutely beyond anything else we saw in 2017. Roger Deakins is a long-time legend cinematographer. This is the guy who did the cinematography for Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest visual films of all time, and he actually went a few notches above that. 2049 visually is a masterpiece. Every single frame you can take and you can hang on a wall. It's just, everything just pulls you into that world of 2049. It is a completely immersive piece of work, and Deakins completely deserves all of the praise for his magnificent work on this film. Going to the cast, Ryan Gosling leads the gang as K, the aforementioned replicant. Say what you want about Gosling, in my mind he got rid of his pretty boy image a long time ago. Obviously he is quite good looking, but he is so much more. He is absolutely amazing in this. He plays a replicant just impeccably, and down to the small details of being a replicant, not being human, not being able to process emotions properly. One scene in the film where he doesn't know how to handle something that's being told to him, and his emotion, while seeming very human-like, are not human-like at all. Incredible, because you see his mind kind of, you know, his programming is like, he just lets out this rage growl, and it's just incredible. Ryan Gosling's acting in this film was one of 2017's highlights. His score for 2049 is also an absolute piece of art, a collaboration between Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wolfich. It equals, in my opinion, the amazing work done by Vangelis on the original. It's saying something, because the original score is one of cinema's greatest. They put together a sonic assault on the senses, which goes hand in hand with Deakins' cinematography. creating this wonderful vision of the future. You can tell I love this film and I can probably talk about it all day. I do have to mention a couple of things that didn't work for me so well. That stands out quite significantly in the form of the villain in Jared Leto's Neander Wallace. Now, I'm a fan of Jared Leto. Unfortunately, he's just not allowed the time to really bring his villain completely to life. I do understand, obviously, the essence of his character is that he is this reclusive, strange man who is angry with his inability to make replicants create life. He's just not in the film for long enough to create enough of an impact. Best antagonist in this film is his sidekick, Love, who is phenomenal. In the same way Ryan Gosling's Kay struggles to process those human emotions, Love is also a little unhinged, acts a little alien, but is also so human as well, from the single tear showing that she's a little deranged. She is fantastic. Her scenes with Kay towards the end of the film are absolutely stunning, both visually in the way they fit in the overall narrative of the story. And that's really it in terms of negatives from this film. I really loved Blade Runner 2049. It's a long film, it's a slow and deliberately paced film, but it's so well crafted, it's so well told, and it's just beautifully put together. I cannot stress it enough. The 3 hours that I was in the cinema passed by just like that. And even Laura was just like, I really like that film. And that is when you know you've got a good film. On my 10-star rating system, 1 being The Human Centipede Part 2, and 10 being The Godfather Part 2, 2 Part 2's there. I would give Blade Runner 2049 a very respectable 9. I loved it, it's amazing, it's a brilliant film. If you haven't seen it, and not a lot of you did, hang your heads in shame. Go and see Blade Runner 2049. Get it on Blu-ray. You will not regret it. It's fantastic. What did you think of Blade Runner 2049? Did you love it as much as I did? Were you a little disappointed? I know a few of my friends out there thought it was quite a slow and dull film, but I slapped those people very quickly. But did you think it was slow? Why did you think it was slow? I mean, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. If you've liked this video, please give it a like and please subscribe to my channel with more video reviews coming very soon. As always, guys, I've been Michael Kenny. You have been awesome, and I'll see your skin job asses very soon.